down, and then after that, we'll start. So we got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. What's going on, y'all? I am your gracious host, Jay Stokes, and this is AVIOT Sunday Brew. We're still sticking to schedule, having the episodes every Sunday, even if it's late at night like it is right now on the East Coast, where I'm residing at. It is 10:49 p.m. I had a lot of problems this morning, so I wasn't able to do the live this morning, but I'm just gonna do it right now. I wanted to go to the gym, hence the outfit right here, and I'm probably gonna go after I'm done with this episode. It's gonna be pretty brief, but first I wanna start by talking about women's basketball. So, Team USA, the women's FIBA Team USA squad, has beaten Team Brazil in the FIBA 2025 Americup. Now, what that is, and I actually have the definition right here because I knew I was going to butcher it. What the FIBA Americup is a basketball tournament that serves as a main competition for senior women's national teams from the Americas. So that includes Central America, South America, North America, the Caribbean. All right? And the women's basketball team has successfully won. Now, they beat Team Brazil. It was a tight game. I was very excited. I've been loosely following Team USA throughout the tournament. I knew they were going to knock out a lot of these other teams. I think they struggled a little bit against Puerto Rico in the last round, but today was the final, and I'm glad they pulled away. Some surprising coaches' decisions. Now, the head coach for the Team USA women's FIBA's basketball squad is actually the coach from Duke, Kara Lawson. So she's the coach of the women's college basketball team at Duke University. And she's a defensive-minded coach. And she had some interesting substitutions. I noticed she did not play Flau'jae Johnson a lot. Now, Flau'jae Johnson's a big name. She's a star player for LSU. And a lot of people know her, but she didn't really play a lot in this game today. And she relied a lot on Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles. Now, Hannah is a dog, and I mean that in the best way possible. She was out there getting at it on defense and really stealing the ball. I think she was the second or third leading scorer for Team USA. No, I think second leading scorer. And she really did her big one. You had Audie Crooks out there, Reagan Beers, Joyce Edwards from South Carolina. So the Team USA squad was pretty good. Now, Team Brazil, a big name that was on that squad was Camila Cardozo. So if you follow the WNBA, then you would know that Camila plays for the Chicago Sky. So she actually stopped playing for the Chicago Sky during this time in the season in order to play for Team Brazil. And hey, we got trolls back in the comment section again. Thank you for coming. So for those of you who are joining this live, we're talking about the Americup, Team USA, the women's basketball team beating Team Brazil. And I was just talking about Camila Cardozo, who plays for the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. She's a professional basketball player. You also have another player. I forget her name. Give me 1 second. She plays for the Indiana Fever. And she also is another professional athlete that was playing, let me see, Indiana Fever roster. She is also another professional playing for Team Brazil. What I thought was very interesting is you had no professional athletes for Team USA, and Team Brazil, I think, had two major professional athletes that were playing for their squad. What is her name? Now I gotta go to their website so I can find her name. Her name is Damaris Dantas. So, what is my favorite team, Purcell? My favorite team, it depends. What are you talking about in terms of favorite team for WNBA, favorite team in terms of FIBA? Because I'm talking about FIBA basketball right now. I'm going to transition into the WNBA, but I just wanted to talk about this final game that was happening right here. But anyways, yes, DeMontis, she did a great job. I think she had like 30-something points in this game. And hey, Team USA pulled out the victory. NBA and WNBA, all right? So my favorite NBA team is the Philadelphia 76ers. I've been very vocal about this on this live in the past. I'm a big fan of theirs due to me being an Iverson fan when I was younger, and I just stayed with the squad. Now, if Connecticut, that's where I'm originally from, if Connecticut had a professional men's basketball team, I would be a fan of theirs. But they have a professional women's basketball team, so my favorite WNBA team is the Connecticut Sun. Hopefully we can keep that team because I heard some rumors that the owners are going to sell the team, and I really don't want that. But if they do sell it, please keep it in Connecticut. I do not want it moving outside of Connecticut. Julius Erving. Well, Julius Erving's before my time. So I did watch some clips of him playing, but I saw Allen Iverson playing in real time. So I know Philadelphia 76ers, they have a stacked squad, right? In terms of the players they've had throughout their history. Charles Barkley's played for Philly, Allen Iverson, Julius Erving, right? You have big names, Moses Malone, that have played for Philly. So I'm definitely a big Philadelphia 76ers fan. In fact, I know the WNBA, they're going to be getting in 2030 a WNBA team in Philadelphia as well. And I definitely will be a fan of theirs. I got to support. Also, I went to grad school in Philly, so I'm a big fan of the city of Philadelphia. I love the grit, the drive. I love the mentality there. Blue collar workers that are about getting it, no excuses. So Philly, that's another city I really like. Yeah. So anyways, just concluding with my Americup talk, I'm very happy that the Team USA women's basketball team won this. What I find interesting during these events when you have these national teams playing against each other, a lot of people got a lot to say about America, especially Americans living in America. They're like, I don't really care about America. I'm not really patriotic. That's what people will say. But then when it comes to these events like the Olympics, the Americup, you see everybody online all of a sudden they're saying, oh yeah, USA, USA. And I always find that so funny how people switch up during those times. Hey, listen, I ain't knocking it. People are gonna be how they want to be, and I think it's perfectly fine. But I'm definitely Team USA all the way for the Americup, and I'm glad that our women took home the victory. Pivoting from that to talking about women's WNBA basketball, there have been some interesting games as of late. I talked about the Indiana Fever before, how they have a player that's a professional player who played for Team Brazil. And yeah, the switch up is crazy. Yeah, the switch up is crazy. The switch up is crazy, but I just find it entertaining. But the Indiana Fever, they recently lost to the LA Sparks. And I thought that was really interesting. I think Rakia Jackson hit the game-winning shot. I know they ended up winning by 2 points, I believe. But Rakia hit a shot that really separated them enough from the Fever so that they can pull out that victory. There's been some talk too. I know Caitlin Clark has been out of the lineup dealing with a groin injury, and there's been some talk of whether or not the Fever are actually a better team when she's not playing. What I will say is they do play more cohesively. From the clips I've seen, I've been boycotting Indiana Fever's games. I don't like how the media hypes up the team and makes it seem like that team is God's greatest gift to earth. That's not the case. That is not the case. They are a very good team that was pieced together, right? Stephanie White left my Connecticut Sun to go coach there. And they're doing decent this season. I don't think they're a championship team unless there's some collusion that goes on. However, how they have been playing from the clips I've seen and their victories that they're pulling out without Caitlin Clark being on the squad, it is very impressive. And they are a different team. So I do think they could still survive without her, as they've been proving. With her there, I'm interested to see when she actually does come back and join the team, how they're actually going to play. So there was that. The New York Liberty lost to the Seattle Storm today. That was surprising to me. Well, not necessarily, because Jonquel Jones is not playing for New York, and I know they're a different squad, but I still thought New York could pull out the victory against Seattle. So, I'll take my words back. It's not necessarily surprising, but I thought New York would pull out that victory. And Seattle came, and they won. Seattle is definitely a playoff team this year, and they're definitely going to make some noise in the playoffs, I think. My aunt-in-law's cousin plays for Houston. The Rockets? Okay, cool. That's what's up. Houston, speaking of which, Houston Rockets, they just got Kevin Durant, so I'm really interested to see how that squad is going to look. With Kevin Durant, especially them being a defensive-minded team, and they don't have Jalen anymore, I'm really curious to see how they do. They don't have Dylan Brooks either. Pressel. But, do you mean the old Houston Comets? Because Houston doesn't have a WNBA team right now, currently. So are you trying to say your aunt-in-law's cousin played for the Houston Comets? Is that what you meant? But anyways, yeah, I'm curious to see how the Houston Rockets do this coming season with Kevin Durant. Well, think about Jalen Green and the Phoenix Suns and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. I don't think that's going to be that great of a squad because Jalen Green is very sometimey. He's not. I don't think Jalen Green is someone you can really rely on when push come to shove. Kevin Durant is someone you can rely on as long as he's healthy. So I do think the Houston Rockets got a better end of that deal. So we will see what happens there. So, anyways, I was saying that Seattle Storm, they're definitely a playoff team. Another team that is a playoff team this year, I believe they're trending in that way, are the Golden State Valkyries, is the Golden State Valkyries. And that was surprising to me because usually, now the Golden State Valkyries, for those of you who don't know in the WNBA, they're a new franchise team that was just formed this season. And the way they've been playing, they have really been competing. And I know they have players on there who are not surprising me in terms of their performance. However, I didn't think they would be this good this soon. Let me see. Okay, I am. Okay. So, yeah, I think they're really good. Chicago Sky, they've been trending in a decent direction. And what I love about the Chicago Sky is that they're starting to gel. There have been a lot of critiques or criticism about the coaching, about general management, about how the players were playing together, because there are a lot of Chicago Sky fans, because there are a lot of Angel Reese fans. And so Angel, I know she started off the season a little rough, but now Angel Reese is doing a very good job. Oh, thank you for subscribing to this channel. To the commenter, I am. But Angel Reese, she's been doing a very good job as of late. And I'm glad because a lot of times she gets a lot of unnecessary hate from people. A lot of people critiquing her game, and she just gets a lot of negativity thrown her way. And really, she's just trying to play the game of basketball, do it well, and just thrive out there. You can't knock a person for wanting to do that. So I'm happy that she's been doing well. She's been on a historic streak as of late, getting 15 plus rebounds in 5 straight games. That is ridiculous. No one in the WNBA has done that in history. So shout out to Angel Reese for that. The Chicago Sky just lost to the Minnesota Lynx today. I thought that was weird because they were winning in that game, but I felt like the refs swallowed their whistle. And I think going into the fourth quarter, Chicago had barely been to the free throw line, and that is very odd because they were attacking the paint and they were getting hit. So I thought that Chicago should have definitely won today's game. I thought the refs did play a factor in that. But then again, going back to what I was leading this episode with, talking about the Americup, you had Camilla not playing with them because she was playing for Team Brazil. So they definitely were missing Camilla as their other go-to person. You're a big Wizards fan. What I think of them right now? No, you're fine. You're fine. We're talking basketball here. Wizards. I mean, the Wizards, they have a lot of work to do. They've been trash for the last few seasons. I feel like ever since John Wall and Bradley Beal have not been a factor with the Wizards or not been with them, they've just been trash. They're not good. Their sister team, the Mystics, they're in a better position to do better than them. So we'll see. Yeah, I know. Are you from the DMV in DC? Well, I would say, the Mystics are doing well. I don't know how the Capitals and the Nationals are doing, but I remember at a point in time, DC had a run of winning championships. Oh, you're in DC? Okay, cool. I know DC had a run of winning championships. I think the Mystics had beat the Sun back in, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. And I was very upset because, I'm a Connecticut Sun fan. But they won, and then the Capitals won, and the Nationals won. There was like a string, I think from 2017 to 2018, you had a lot of major teams in DC that were winning championships. So, you're in Maryland. Got it. Okay. Still DMV, unless you are Baltimore and up, then you don't count. But yeah, so that was that. Just going back on track to what I was talking about with the WNBA, you have a lot of good games that have been happening, a lot of teams competing. I'm definitely loving the way the WNBA is looking right now. I love women's basketball in general. At this point in my life, I'm following women's basketball more than I am the men. I feel like with women's basketball, they compete. They show this level of poise and discipline, and you can tell they're not just there for the money. They're there because they want to play. There was a point in time where women's basketball players, they weren't even getting paid all that much. Now the payment's getting better. I know that You have the Players Association meeting with the heads of the WNBA to come to the negotiation table to have a new collective bargaining agreement so that they can get paid more. And from what I have read, some rumors, the negotiations aren't doing too well thus far. So there's a potential that there will be a lockout and the women's basketball players in the WNBA won't be playing next season until they get their terms met or they come to a mutually beneficial resolution. So there is that. But women's basketball in general, I just love it. I have nothing but praise to say for it. And the thing is, in the past with me, like I've always been someone who's followed women's basketball, not the WNBA as much. Like I was here and there. Like I know the different championships that people have won over the years. I know the teams that people have won to. Maya Moore, she played for UConn. Like I said, I'm from Connecticut originally, so I was always following the UConn players going into the WNBA. But watching the games was tough because it was hard to access those games. Like even today, the New York Liberty versus Seattle Storm. I bought the WNBA app so I can watch the games on the app, but I wasn't able to see that game in real time because it was hard to find that New York Liberty versus Seattle Storm game. I think it was on CBS or Paramount Plus. I don't have access to that, so I wasn't able to watch it in real time. So you look at other people who don't have access to those streaming platforms or to CBS, the television station, they're not able to watch that game. And that factors into viewership, that factors into people's interest in the sport. So I do believe that the higher ups need to do a better job of how they are marketing the WNBA and how they're making it accessible to people who really want to watch it. Speaking of marketing, I got to pivot and go into, I know I said pivot the other time. Let's transition and talk about, did I play basketball? Yeah, I played basketball once upon a time. Yeah, I did. Lost interest. Maybe one day I'll pick up a ball again, but I definitely lost interest. But I want to transition, speaking of marketing, into Ironheart. So I don't know if you all know about the character Ironheart, Riri Williams. She's a comic book character. Disney Plus has just released a show with her being the main character. It's her own mini series, I guess you could say, one season. No love for the game. Nah. I got love for the game. I got love for the game of basketball. That's why I'm watching women's basketball all the time. If I wanted to hoop, I would hoop. But right now, I'm more about getting in shape and getting my personal affairs in order, making sure my family's straight, making sure that my health is good, making sure that I'm good in terms of my job. Like that's where I'm at right now. Because when I was playing basketball, I was really in it. Like I would be playing for hours at a time because I wanted to be the best. And in many cases, I was the best. Yeah, thank you. But as I was saying before with Ironheart, I felt that Disney did a horrible job at marketing that show because Ironheart is a really good show. It was only 6 episodes on Disney Plus. Ironheart is a Marvel character, and she basically makes these kind of Iron Man type suits. So if you're familiar with the character Iron Man, Tony Stark was played by Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Riri Williams also creates iron suits. She's a black woman who I believe went to MIT. You can look at her comics. Very interesting character. I thought the show was really good, and I thought that Disney fumbled the ball in terms of marketing that show because it was excellent. And then you have one of the executive producers being Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler just had a hit movie come out, Sinners. So why wouldn't you market it from the mind of the producer, writer, director of the movie Sinners comes Ironheart? Come on. You can get buy-in and you can get a lot of people to watch that show. And the funny thing is, a lot of people were criticizing the show, saying that, oh, it wasn't all that good. And I really think a lot of it was based in misogynoir, a lot of bigotry towards black women because it was the cast was primarily black and the lead character was a black woman, okay, in the show Ironheart. So you had a lot of people that were critiquing it. I know a lot of people review bombed it as soon as the show even started, so they had a lot of negative reviews. But then all of a sudden in the last episode, a key character who's part of Marvel shows up, and now all of a sudden people are interested in the show and they're interested in that character. So it's like, Okay, so obviously you see the show wasn't that bad after all, especially because they introduced a character, a comic book character that you really wanted to see. Overall, Ironheart to me was a great show. I've watched it multiple times, and I intend on watching it again, just like I did with Sinners. Whoop de doo. And I just like that it's a show that takes place in Chicago. It's very grounded. It's a predominantly black cast, and it's very cultured. And I thought they did a great job with the acting. I thought everybody held down their role great. I thought that the character Riri Williams is very flawed, but I believe she has an arc. She's going to have her own hero's journey. She's going to have her own arc where she develops as a character, just like other good written characters in Marvel have. They have their own arc. Tony Stark, Iron Man, who pretty much spearheaded, started off this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe journey. He had his arc from being a greedy, techie, genius, playboy, billionaire, and ending his arc by being a savior of the world. So I just wanted to shout out Ironheart. Make sure y'all stream it. Make sure y'all leave nice reviews. And truly, if you have critiques of the show, be fair. I believe a lot of critiques of the show Ironheart are not fair at all. So that is that. Lastly, what I wanted to talk about was critiques, right? I want to talk about this Diddy trial briefly. I'm going to go more into it in some other material that I have coming out later on this week. But I know that the Diddy trial is over. So he was being charged on 5 things. I have the 5 things pulled up right here. Racketing conspiracy, which he was found not guilty on. Trafficking for pleasure, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. He was found not guilty on. Then he had trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, again, of another person, found not guilty on, but he got found guilty on 2 charges. One was transportation to engage in prostitution, and the other one was transportation to engage in prostitution for 2 different people. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because you have many perspectives that are coming out of this. I don't believe anybody wins in this case because I do believe that Diddy was guilty of a lot of misdeeds. I cannot prove it, but I know we saw the video of him harming Cassie Ventura. We did see that. That video was leaked and it was a horrible video to see. So if you saw in that video that he was harming her, you can only imagine what was going on behind closed doors. So I do think Diddy is a very flawed individual, and I don't believe justice was served here. I do also believe that it's hard with this trial, with this whole case. It was very hard to pin things on him because you had many moving parts, many participants. And I'm just not with, you have men out here praising Diddy, saying, we're all Diddy, I'm glad he got off. Oh, you can't hold a black man down. It's not a black or white thing. It's a right and wrong thing. And the fact of the matter is Diddy did a lot of wrong. And I just don't like how people are going about it. The trial is what it is. The results are what they are. And unfortunately, when you have situations like this, a lot of times men who are guilty or who have done horrendous acts, they get off free because that's the world we live in. Look at the US president, for instance. There's a lot of crimes that he committed, and this is not me just talking. This is facts. We have record of him being guilty of several crimes, but he still gets rewarded with being the US president, right? You can look at it as a reward. You can also look at it as a burden, but it is what it is. So I'll get into the trial more in detail in some other material that I'll be putting out later on this week. But I just wanted to touch on that and just say that a lot of the chatter around it, nobody won. Nobody won. The result is what it is. With that being said, I said that this was going to be a pretty short live today because I do want to go to the gym. Got to keep my health up to par. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. So what's brewing for me this week is to continue creating material. I'm getting better on my schedule in terms of starting to produce again. There was a lull that I had not too long ago in which I wasn't really producing, and it really bothered me. I had a lot going on in the outside world, just trying to get my affairs in order, try to make sure, I don't mean to be vague, but trying to make sure that I'm disciplined in different areas of my life. Make sure I'm eating 3 meals a day. Make sure I'm drinking enough water. Make sure I'm getting enough sleep. Make sure that I'm showing up for my day job. Making sure that I show up for my family. So that's a little less vague, but trying to juggle all of that. And then on top of things, hold down the fort with this company right here, Chemistry Productions, the parent company of the AVIOT podcast, AVIOT Sunday Brew. The live show is a part of the AVIOT podcast. Trying to hold the fort down has definitely been something. And I feel like a broken record because I say that a lot, but it is what it is. I'm being vulnerable on this show. And I thank everyone who tunes in. Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Sunday. But I appreciate y'all for leaving comments and even the trolls.